What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Chromecast. My name is Joe, joined here today by Robbie.
Hey, what's up?
Gabriel.
Hello.
Andy Cam.
Hey, guys.
Dan. Paul. Everybody. Whole crew's here.
Carl, Chloe, Clementine, and what was
Clifford.
Clifford.
Clifford. Okay. I wasn't sure what you were saying.
It's not a big red dog anymore.
Nope.
No.
By the way, we watched the new one. Don't recommend it.
Okay.
My kids loved it.
Really?
We went to the theater and watched it. My kids, I thought it was kind of corny, but I looked over at my daughter, who doesn't cry. Well, she does cry at movies and stuff. Like, she was like, all sniffly at one point, like when they lose Clifford or whatever. Yeah, and I was just like,
spoiler.
Yeah,
Gosh, dude.
It's so fast. There's no.
Wow.
I mean, I understand it's a movie about a big red dog, but there's zero development whatsoever.
no,
It's just
no.
boom, the movie's over.
Boom. Done.
Yeah, I'm a little overcritical of movies.
There you go.
I cried 3 times in the last episode of Stranger Things, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was heavy.
It was definitely heavy.
Can we talk about something else, please?
Let's talk about coffee.
Okay.
What are you guys sipping on today?
Same old.
Did we have? I thought Andrew, or not Andrew.
No.
That's Andrew. Josh brought in some other coffee.
Maybe we got into that.
Yeah.
So this could be Blackbeard.
This is the cold brew he made on Tuesday, so I don't know what it is. It's
Probably Blackbeard.
Probably Blackbeard.
He got a big old thing of Blackbeard.
He ordered a ton of other stuff yesterday, so there's no telling what might be coming through here next week.
So the cold brew method has been nice to sip on.
Yeah,
I feel like this might be Blackbeard's.
Yeah.
It's not as round as the anniversary blend is.
Yeah. Anniversary's where it's at.
I love it.
And you can get a special edition bag of anniversary blend
With our logo on it.
if you like us, if you want to be friends with us.
our name on it. It's
right?
Cool.
If you want to support Chrome Unboxed,
Yeah.
go get a bag of coffee with our logo on it. It's the same stuff inside, but I have heard people say it does taste better.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of stuff that's psychosomatic. So.
I mean, what better way to impress your friends when they come over?
right?
Like,
right. You're
whatever.
like, look at this snobby
Like,
bag of
I don't,
coffee
yeah,
that I have.
I don't like to
It has-
brag, but
it has
the
Chrome-
guys over at Chrome Unboxed packaged this just for me.
they sent this to me.
They're
via
like,
a-
And they're gonna be
Chrome
like,
Unboxed?
What?
Who's Chrome Unboxed?
these guys I listen to about Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Anyways, how about Monday Night Football?
Yeah.
We're not talking
But-
about that either. So
Yeah, let's just breeze right past that. This coming Monday's
It's going to be the same.
got me a little worried.
If you go in with no expectations, you won't be sad.
That's true.
Right.
True.
Right.
Joe
I'm
and I
gonna
are Titans fans, and so
Yeah.
they're going to be playing the Bills.
The Bills on Monday.
At the Bills.
So, I'm a Broncos fan, and we walked into Seattle last Monday. So I'm going to root for you guys on Monday. I'm going to
Yeah.
cheer for you.
Yeah, I watched some of
like
the
the
Broncos
Titans.
game, not the whole thing.
The crazy
but-
thing is, I like the Bills.
Yeah.
I like the team they got now. I was rooting for them in the Super Bowl, or to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But
For
then
sure.
I was divided because Cincinnati's pretty close to us.
Yeah.
And so they're never good, and so to see them kind of come up, and I was like, I kind of want them to go too. So when they went to the Super Bowl, I was like, it's okay. Plus they beat the Titans in the playoffs, so I was like, this works.
Yeah.
And then they didn't pull it out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That game.
I think the
that
Bills-
game when they beat the Titans was rough.
yeah.
was rough. Anywho, moving on. We're gonna talk about the Pixelbook here in a minute, but just for anybody who didn't listen to last week's episode, I do want to. We're just gonna talk about it every week until it happens. This is just what we do when there's a hardware event.
It's going to happen this week.
What?
I don't know.
What's happening?
Whatever you're getting ready to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're going to New York for a Google hardware in-person
I
event.
thought you were going to talk
But not
about
this
reaching
week.
our first subscriber goal. I was
we
gonna
are
happen.
close.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of stalled last week. So
Yeah.
if you
No,
all
I'm
are
willing it into existence.
Yes.
But yes, we are not going to New York next week.
not next week. It is October
As far as
6th.
we know. Yeah.
And we are going to be in person, heading up to New York to report live from the scene. And Robbie for sure is going to be in the keynote, and then we're trying to arrange some other. It's a very small keynote.
It's a small group. So
And then they're
probably
doing
this first live post-COVID thing. They're probably going to keep it small.
So he might be the only one in there for that, but we're hoping to get the crew in for some hands-on.
For the sandbox time.
Get footage of everything. Which
If
they're
not,
Yeah.
You're on your own, and Joe and I will be pizza crawling.
Yeah.
Just give me a camera and I'll point it at things.
Yeah, I mean, film it on your phone, honestly.
We're going to be in Brooklyn. We can go do that, the pizza tour that Charlie was talking about. That'd be pretty cool. Nah, I'm just kidding. We're not going to have time for that.
We don't have time for anything. But
we will eat pizza while we're there, though.
We're rolling in and rolling out.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting. In-person event, first one since COVID for us. Yep. And, obviously, we're really excited about some of the announcements. Obviously, new Pixel 7 flagship phones and the Pixel Watch are the main ones that we're really excited about. The Pixel Watch I am obsessing over, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
Can't wait.
I'm my only fear with it is that I'm overhyping it in my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely
trying to
definitely worried about
ease
that.
off, but we'll see. Hopefully,
it's the smartwatch that I've always wanted.
I know. I'm just like that.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
It's hanging so much on it.
I
don't know.
It could deliver. Hopefully, will deliver everything that we want it to deliver, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll know more on. We don't know. I mean, we don't know much about internals. We've only seen some photos and some video from I/O, and so we'll get all the details on the 6th.
Well, and we can, since we're talking about this, I published this morning, and it's just passing along rumor from somebody else. What a digital something station? Chat. Digital chat station.
There you go.
He posts on Weibo, which is China's social media.
Yeah, it's their big social media.
He posts on Twitter, but nowhere near as much as he does on Weibo. And he's had some pretty good leaks over the years. And he's saying that Google is producing a mini-me version of something that looks like a Pixel 6, Pixel 7. There's nothing like concrete to substantiate this, but he's got a code name. Andrew, if you can pull that up, I don't remember what it was called. Nilo, Nira,
Navar,
something.
Nirvana.
Neila.
Neila. Which doesn't sound like a Pixel name. Usually it's like fish or birds or something. So yeah, I don't know. Grain of salt, obviously, with that one, but the idea being that they would make a smaller but still flagship phone. So, like the Pixel 4a was a little bitty phone. 5a was not. And the 6a kind of went back a little bit, but it's 6 inches, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So this would be, I'm assuming, something smaller than that, maybe a little bit. But apparently, like overseas, in America, people like big phones. But Google doesn't sell a lot of phones outside of the States. U.S. and Japan usually are like the first markets, and then they go to a few other places. But apparently in other markets, smaller phones are still desirable. And the idea of making a small flagship phone.
Yeah. Still have all the internals, still have a nice screen.
Right. But somebody said something in, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was somebody's video. I can't remember what it was. Oh no, it's Mr. Who's the Boss. That's what it was. Like I'm sitting there like trying to follow the trail. It was Mr.
That video I watched.
Yeah.
That one led me here.
It was Mr. Who's the Boss. And he did a video about the iPhone 14, kind of like the after the event was over, just his reaction to it. And in the middle of it, he quoted a statistic. I had to go look back up again, but that like the iPhone, because he was trying to make the point like they've introduced the iPhone Max. I think we might have talked about this last week.
I think so.
Because they swapped. Basically, they're swapping a phone that they'll probably sell a bunch of for a phone that I looked it up again today to write this. It was only 3% of their overall sales.
Wow.
The Mini.
I don't know that we talked about that last week. That's wild.
I meant to say that if I didn't.
Wow.
So his point was like, hey, you're switching a phone that probably doesn't sell anyway. You're introducing a new phone in your 4-phone lineup that will probably sell quite a bit because it's not quite the Pro, but it's still big. And it's $200 more than that phone. So you're swapping out something that's going to sell more and it has a better price. So good point. But if you take that, if Apple can't move a small flagship phone in the U.S., nobody can. Right. So don't do that. So
please don't waste your time on that, Google.
So my guess is if Google is doing it, they're not going to waste their time with releasing it in the States. Maybe it'd be the first time that they've done a variation of a phone and released it overseas. But they could release it here and just not market it heavy here and push it to other markets.
If it is legit, that's my feeling, because Android, they kind of gone away with what was the dumbed down Android 1 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
They've kind of gotten away from that, but they still, they do light apps and all that thing. This very well could be a push for the non-US market, because those phones do really, really well. I mean, every street corner in a lot of these larger countries, you can buy an Android based phone for little of nothing, and maybe this is going to be like their $200 global phone for people that just need telecommunications.
Yeah, but I feel like it would get announced at a different event. Like it would be that the next billion type thing, where we're targeting, and not just with Android this time. We're doing it with one of our own phones. It's got Tensor and whatever. I don't see any possibility that we see this in New York.
And if that's a success, that's another way that if Google decided to do this, that's another way that Tensor could make its way into other devices. If Google's, I'm not convinced that Google's going to do that. But if the day came that they decided, hey, this could be lucrative for us to do this, there's not a ton of smartphone makers that market in the U.S., but they're a dime a dozen overseas. I mean,
yeah, and I mean, there's some of those rumors with the Ultra as well. Like both of these devices could just be stuff they're messing with.
Yeah,
like
reference devices. They're trying some
stuff out to see what works and what doesn't. And so, I don't know. Don't put too much stock in this stuff. Yeah. Like we talk about the Pixel Notepad, and there's patent filings. There are all kinds of references to it in the Google Camera app and all this stuff. So there's like these clear indicators that it's on the way. Industry insiders are saying, hey, they're ordering these screens, blah, blah, blah. Like there's all this stuff that would point to this being a real thing. There's really nothing concrete for either this Ultra, Pixel 7 Ultra. I mean, there's some code stuff, but again, that could just be a development device. And then we've got this one report, that's some random person put on the internet, and we're all like, oh, maybe.
So did he say in that at all, is it Tensor 2, or does he know? Okay. Because that's the thing.
No details.
This could very well be, if it is legit, it very well could be the 7A. I mean, if it's Tensor 2, it could be the next.
Early
development. The reason I don't think, it wouldn't make sense for him to be saying what he's saying, because he said it's a flagship device. It's a small device, but it's flagship, so... same, I think he said the same look and feel of the Pixel family, but I'm like, the A series has that, so I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon, but it's
we're still hoping. You mentioned the Notepad. We're still hoping for maybe a tease.
Hopefully a tease
of the Pixel folding phone, the Notepad, and
they're saying right now the industry people are saying probably Q1.
Yeah,
2023.
Gosh, that's. That'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, not far.
So, I mean, the timing would be similar to the Pixel Watch tease. They teased it, and now it's out the end of this month. And if they give a good tease of it now, and it launches by the end of Q1 next year, that gives them time.
Have we heard any rumors or anything about availability on this new hardware that's going to be announced on the 7 and the Watch?
Day of is what the blog post says.
Yeah.
So they said you'll be able to buy it at the store and online the day
of. Oh, yeah, because I remember you all mentioning if we, depending on what we get from the event, we can just go down and buy what we need.
The fun part is we're the sandbox part of the event's at the Google store.
Right.
So we'll be in the store already.
Just here, take all of my money. Just here's some cash.
Yeah. Already paid to fly here. Stay in a hotel. Here's some more money.
Here's some more money, Google. just make a big bed of all this cash and sleep in it.
Save some money on some golf gear this week so I can buy
there you go. That's right. So. That's right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we can come away with. The last live event we went to was in 2019. And they didn't have Pixelbooks to give away, and then everybody got their little bag. And every one of these we've gone to, like, we always feel like we get shafted a little bit from the take-home bag. Now, since we haven't done the in-person ones, the media kits that we've pretty much gotten everything that we would need.
Which is awesome, yeah.
So I'm hoping that translates to this year. I'm hoping
I just
when
don't
they
know
hand
if
us
it's
our
the
little
same
bag,
people. It's probably, I don't know.
Who knows?
Gosh, I hope
I just hope when they hand us our bag, they're not like, oh, here's a little Chrome box bag with one thing in it.
Yeah. We need, we're doing reviews on the stuff that gets announced.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and,
every bit
and
of it.
we need to have it, and if we have to go buy it, we'll go buy it. But I mean,
sure,
come on.
I'm sure we can get a hold of it. I
Come
just don't know
on.
if they'll hand it
Yeah,
to
like
us
the
at
Nest
event.
team's really good about sending this stuff, but I mean, I agree. I feel like whatever they have, we should.
Yeah,
you know,
hopefully.
we shouldn't have any problem
think
because
this year, maybe.
the phones we get, and then if there is new Chromecast or whatever announced, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't.
Well, and my guess is the fact that they've always done kind of that different package. This package goes to this publication. It has to be based on like keyword research and stuff.
Right.
Like these people write about this stuff because
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
last
probably,
one
yeah.
we went to in person, we probably had 3 Pixel articles total on
Oh, yeah,
our
we hadn't-
website. Like it was just a handful by then.
Yeah, we hadn't written
Um,
about it
so-
hardly at all.
Yeah, it's a little different now.
Now we cover a little bit of Pixel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pixel Watch, Pixel.
The
Pixel
you know, the Pixelbook.
Pixel Pad,
Pixel Pad, Pixel Fold.
We cover Pixelbook.
We do.
Wow,
We did.
Wah, wah, wah.
We did.
So let's just talk
Rip
about
the
it.
Band-Aid off.
Let's just talk about it.
So-
We've got a picture of the OG Pixelbook there.
We got a print.
We have
Yeah,
yeah,
some
we do
pictures
have a
of it.
print. We have a awesome photo of the Pixelbook Go and the original Pixelbook up on the screen.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. R.I.P.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's not something that's going to be announced because it's not happening.
No, and it's
Unfortunately.
and we weren't for sure that we were going to hear anything about it anytime soon anyway, but we were relatively sure up until recently that there was a possibly a tensor powered, but at least a Pixelbook in the works because we all overlooked this, but at I/O, Rick Osterloh told The Verge,
Yeah.
we have a new Pixelbook.
It was-
Pixelbooks,
Yeah.
Plural. Pixelbooks.
Yeah, on the roadmap.
which could have been true at that point in
Yeah.
time.
So, but then earlier this week just came out with that. That was Monday. Yeah, because I was watching the Broncos game, so it was like double
Close
whammy
to the
Yeah.
whatever.
So
We were playing golf
Yeah.
when those texts came through. I was like,
anyway, recently Google's had some cutbacks, and it's I don't really know that it's tied directly to revenue. Sundar just seems like he's wanting to shift to a more laser focused Google. And that means cutting back in certain areas. I read this morning or yesterday that they've cut the Area 120. Is it 120? Area 120?
yeah,
Yeah.
they're experimental.
So it's like
group.
they've cut that in half. They've dissolved some departments. They're not on like a firing spree. They're relocating people. But the memo also said that they were going to slow hiring and they were only going to hire like necessary engineers and things like that to work on specific projects. So he did not say this, but the Verge said that their source told them that part of this cutback hiring slowdown also meant they axed the Pixelbook and the team behind it was dissolved. So they've been moved to other areas in Google. So unofficially official, there is no more Pixelbook in the works, which is crazy because according to the source and what the Verge said, development was very far along. So my guess, and I'd put this in my article, was I anticipate the new Pixel tablet to show up probably Q1, Q2, somewhere around that. My guess is they were going to announce the new Pixelbook at next year's hardware event, and unless something changes, that is no more.
Yeah.
So here's the thing with all this, though. Like as you're talking, I'm sitting there thinking through like all the things that Google has said. We're done making this, and then came back
Like
and started making again.
Like the Pixel tablet that we're getting ready to get.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean they swore off tablets.
Yeah.
They've sworn off the Pixelbook before.
Yeah.
They've said that we're not making another one of those or whatever, and then the Pixelbook Go happened. So while it may be dissolved for now, like I think the Pixelbook will reemerge when it's needed.
Right.
When Google feels like it's time for it to show up and do something.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about this at length internally and with openly with people at Google and stuff. Google's always been kind of a Halo device company with the Nexus line and things like that. They create the Pixel family now is different. Google has now evolved into a hardware company. But for these Halo style devices, they bring them out when they're needed, when the ecosystem needs to be pushed forward or OEMs need some direction on, hey, this is where we'd like to see Android go, or this is where we'd like to see this go, or whatever. Right. So because none of the Pixelbooks have been the most powerful hardware on the market. But like I wrote and you've written and we've talked about on many occasions, there's something about a Pixelbook that it's incomparable to any other device on the market. And I'm comparing that to a $2,500 HP Dragonfly Elite. There's something about a Pixelbook and a Pixelbook Go that you don't get with those devices. And Google's just in a place right now where I don't think that they need to have that device because, we know, Robbie's talked about this, they work hand in hand with every manufacturer. You don't make a Chromebook without Google's input and their seal of approval. So clearly they're working with like HPs and Lenovo's and all these to create these cutting edge Chromebooks and ChromeOS devices. I wasn't talking Google. So right now there's just no need for a Pixelbook.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the market, like where it is right now, where we sit, the devices that we have coming out, the Dragonfly is a perfect example of this device that is cutting edge and has all kinds of new features and it's awesome. I mean, heck, was it made by Google? Their Instagram account that
they put it in there. The new Dragonfly.
And the thing is, like Google, we were told by HP, Google had a huge hand, like probably built the internal part of that Dragonfly Chromebook, like no different than they would have designed the internals of Pixelbook or something. So they had a huge hand in doing that, but then HP obviously finished off the outside. And as nice as the Dragonfly is, as great as an experience as it is to use it, there just is something different. And it's an attention to detail, but it's not as if the Google-made Chromebooks are the only ones that have that attention. I would say like there's a small category of devices that have this, and I would say that like Apple's MacBooks have that. Microsoft's first-party Surface hardware has that, and then Google's Pixel and Pixelbook devices have that. And it's strange because it seems like it's hard to define because, like Abe said, these weren't devices that had the best overall hardware. Technically, I mean, especially from an internal standpoint. I mean, you could argue the Pixelbook Go had a mediocre screen. It's like it's a 1080p 13.3-inch 16:9 panel that didn't get that bright, and it's fine. It's fine. I'll never forget being in Vegas, and that was the one I had on me, and we stopped to see the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook, and I flipped its OLED brilliance open and put the Pixelbook next to it, or the Pixelbook Go next to it, and the Go screen looked absolutely dingy and terrible. So it's not as if Google takes all the right things and puts it in a bowl and mixes it together and just goes, hey, we picked all the big hardware and we got this nice thing. We're going to take good stuff, but then we're going to have this craftsmanship and attention to detail on the outside parts of the device that are necessary to make something that feels different. And, we're going to spend a lot of time researching and developing how we're going to make the chassis and then figure out how to fit the parts that we want inside that. And, that clearly takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of skill. And I understand that that's probably why the Pixelbooks were always a little bit high on the price range. Right. But there's no substitute for it. And for right now, there's no OEM that matches that in the Chromebook space, and I don't think in the Windows space. Maybe a Dell XPS, maybe, but I've picked up XPSs, and I'm like,
but something
still not the same.
Something just occurred to me though. You remember with the original Pixelbook, they talked about all the intelligent design and how they had designers from like over in it was like Norway and stuff like that. Like most OEMs have been making devices for so long. They have their flagship devices. They have their XPSs and their Elites and all that stuff. So when they create a new premium Chromebook, they kind of fold it into that. Google didn't have that, and it might have been an advantage to them because they took this and said, hey, here's who Google is. Here's our mantra. Here's our material design. Here's what we go for in the Nest line and the Pixel line. Let's create something around that. And it's more intentional design than you get with the other OEMs. And hopefully Google kind of, prods and encourages other, because there have been devices, like I remember when we saw the first Duet tablet when we went to Vegas, when we walked in and saw it, I'm like, man, that could totally have a G on the back of it. It just had a googly feel to
somebody that said that Google was heavy-handed with that device too.
And you can see those devices where Google's kind of had their fingers on it like that.
So. And I go back, and I've mentioned this many times, but one of the first devices, Chromebooks I ever got my hands on was the HP Chromebook 11.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go look that device up, you'll see it's white pill shaped. The unboxing is embarrassing, but you can go find it on our YouTube channel.
We'll link it. Make sure to link it.
But it, the box itself was like a pill shaped white box and had a colored band. So there were 4 colors. The Google 4 colors were the options in the colors, and those accents came in on like the feet. And then like a part on the inside, like there was like a bar, or no, there's like a surround around the keyboard, and that was the color you chose, but it matched the color on the outside of the box. I mean, this thing looked like you open it up, I don't even think it had HP on it. Maybe. And I think it just said Chromebook.
I don't think it did.
And on the bottom of the lid, it said Chrome on it, just like the original Chromebook Pixel did. It had upward firing speakers, just like the Chromebook Pixel. It had one of the first it was just an IPS panel, but the other couple Chromebooks that were out by then, or at that point, were TN panels, so they looked terrible. So it was IPS, so it had nice dark inky kind of colors and stuff. It just had a really slow processor in it, but it had great keyboard. No, that one was shoot.
Was it Haswell or Pre?
No, that was Pre. I can't remember what crappy processor they put in those. It was that old Exynos, that very first Exynos, Samsung Exynos chip.
So worse than the Tegra.
It was the same thing that was in the super bendy Samsung, the Chromebook for everyone, the $250 Samsung Chromebook. That was my first Chromebook.
Was that
got one?
We've got one. The Series
3? It's in that box right there.
Series 5?
Top of the shelf. Series 3.
Yeah.
Series 3.
They had a Series 5 that was out, 2 Series 5 that were out before it, and then they made that super duper cheap. I mean, it's like made of rubber. It just like bends all over the place.
Floppy.
Very bendy.
But so Google was clearly heavily involved there, and you could see it. And like you said, with the Lenovo, I'm trying to think if there's been any other devices where it's like we don't know for sure, but you can kind of tell that's the case. There's nothing off the top of my head.
The bigger HP 14, my first one I got from you, it had felt a little googly, probably just because it was white. But yeah,
I can't think of any
Lenovo
others.
did the light bar on that one, but that was
it never even did anything.
And you can't buy it, so whatever.
But I think that kind of highlights what role Google could play in a Pixelbook free world. Where Google could step in and not just assist manufacturers, but like
collaborate.
Yeah, really work with them and brand it, or I don't know, market it in some way, or I don't know. Like I think back, I need to go look at that HP again because I'm trying to remember what was on it. I know there was an HP logo somewhere on it, but I feel like it was so downplayed. And even the launch event for that device, I remember, was on Google's campus. It was small.
Was it on the keyboard deck? It was like a little round HP.
I just can't remember now.
See if you can find it in the cam.
Yeah, good luck with that one. HP Chromebook 11. You might be able to find some pictures on the interwebs.
What year was that? 2014?
2014, something like that.
Go back and watch the unboxing.
Yeah, it's great. It's great fun. I did that one
on eBay for $16.
I'm pretty sure I had the chairs stacked up with the pizza box.
I mean, got to start somewhere.
Yep.
That's it. Somewhere.
So see, look, there's no HP branding on that. Now there might be on the lid. I don't know. And they made HP Chromebook 11 G blah 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 blah. Now they've got their G. The one we destroyed was a HP Chromebook 11 G9. They just keep making new ones. None of them look like that. That was the only one that they did that with. And so I could see a future where Google starts doing this with manufacturers in this very overt way. Where they don't have to go make their own Chromebook, but they could still influence the market in a few ways by taking what they know about.
On the bottom.
Really? Let me see.
Look at the feet though. So those colorful feet.
Yeah, that's so cool. We'll make sure to throw some photos up on the video.
It's on the bottom of this thing. And so
but it also
it didn't have any Google.
Sorry to interrupt.
Either.
Google on the bottom by the foot.
Okay. See,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There could be some of this co-branding. We're making this with Google.
Because what was the thing?
It feels like the Nexus.
Yeah, the thing you mentioned the other day with the Android Play Edition or whatever it was.
Yeah. Is that what they were called?
Was it?
Yeah, it was just
the Play
Google
Edition.
Play Edition.
Yeah.
So Samsung made the Galaxy S. Andy Cam probably remembers these. I want to say the Galaxy S3.
It was the 3 or the 4.
Yeah,
the
where they did
3S.
the Google Play edition of phones, so you could get it. It didn't have any of Samsung stuff on it. It was basically a Nexus without calling it a Nexus.
It would have
Basically,
been the 3.
Yeah.
the 3.
We got 4s at Bluegrass from then on out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the 4 was where Samsung kind of came into its own, kind of like Apple did, where they decided our phone's going to be the same phone on every carrier and all this stuff. But yeah, the Nexus program is a perfect example of this. The Play edition phones, that kind of thing, where there's heavy collaboration without it having to be a first party thing.
Right.
And so, and really all that Google would have to do is nudge some of these people. You have HP or Asus or Lenovo or Acer that have, and Dell if they ever decide, or Samsung, that have the scale and the ability to build devices, like this, unique devices. They just need to decide that they want to pay more attention to the outer portions. And when it comes down to it, that's what makes them different. That's what makes the Pixelbooks different. It's just the attention to that outer part of the hardware.
And they should, because there's no reason not to. I mean, the software is the software. It doesn't change. Google doesn't allow that. It's the same on every single device. All the internals that's already been tweaked, and everything's ready in the repositories. Focus on building that perfect exterior device.
Yeah, but I think the other thing that becomes a difficult ask in this situation is the fact that you can go to Best Buy right now and go pick up every Windows laptop. Don't pick up Microsoft's, but every other Windows laptop, and tell me if you do find one that matches Microsoft's, Apple's, or Google's build quality.
There's not.
And you just won't find them. And that's not a knock to these manufacturers, but
scale problems, or I don't know.
And so if they're not already doing it for those Windows devices,
why would they do it for a
right?
Chromebook?
So like Google would have to make a concerted
incentivize
effort,
or
right?
Offer kind of almost like some free services or something to help these.
Well, and on top of that, I think they would have to say, like, look, we'll let you, and we will also market this as
promote it,
almost a first party
Sure,
thing. So let people know that are like, we want a Pixelbook so bad.
Cool.
There is no Pixelbook, but we worked with Asus and Dell and HP, and we built these 3 Chromebooks that have that kind of Pixelbook vibe.
Right.
Like whatever you call it, whatever the program is, but make it clear, make sure people know that that's the case, and then I think you could have something, because at the end of the day, Google clearly doesn't want to go and fight with their OEMs. Like that, the situation with Chromebooks is unique in hardware. You have Apple, who's fully vertically integrated, hardware, software. They control the stack. Then you've got Microsoft, who is kind of all over the place. They're integrated with their software and their own hardware, but they also license their software to other OEMs, so they're in direct competition with them. So that's almost similar to what Google does with the Pixel devices. Like, they decided, we're going to get into this, and we're ready to fight. Like, we're going to fight these
against
OEMs.
our own operating system that we license.
But Android is so malleable. Like, when Samsung takes it, Samsung does whatever Samsung wants. Like, Google helps in certain ways to do certain things with Android because they think it's going to benefit the ecosystem, but they're not at the whim of Samsung to do anything. They don't have to. It's here's the AOSP, and you can take it and do whatever you want with it. And so those are all different scenarios from what Chromebooks and ChromeOS are, where you've got Google touching everyone, but they're all going out, and they want this ecosystem to be, strong and sustainable and competitive, and for them to come in and craft something that is uniquely better than anybody else, and not really have to do it at scale, like, because they never did with Pixelbooks. Like they were never. It's like they weren't having to build millions of them. They were just like, we'll build some, whatever. It disrupts all of this stuff, and it puts them in direct competition with their OEM partners. And these OEM partners aren't just people who resell Chrome OS for them, like people that resell Windows or people that resell Android, basically. These partners are people they're working with. They're actual partners with, and they want to see Chrome OS move forward as we all work together to make this happen. And so Pixelbooks are more than just a shot across the bow for those relationships. They really are. And I think that's why Pixelbooks have only come around when Pixelbooks are needed.
Right.
And we've talked about that. And I'm 100% that's sure. Like, that's how they've leveraged them. A Google-made first-party piece of hardware in ChromeOS space only shows up when necessary.
Right.
When we want to do something to push things forward. Well, look around.
Yeah.
You know, the last couple of years,
Well,
Chromebooks aren't really evolving that much
Right.
at this point.
Right.
Like, we've
Yeah.
kind of hit
Yeah.
all the things, and so it's like, what is a Pixelbook even going to do at this point?
And not only that, back to Robbie's point, I mean, at one point in time, Rick Osterloh himself said, we're not doing tablets. We are dedicated to our partners that make them. And at that point in time, they weren't. And I guarantee you that whoever worked on Google's Pixel, they probably didn't have a tablet team, because there wasn't a tablet since the Pixel C, which was
Right.
ages ago. But if there were people in the Android tablet department that said, hey guys, we're not tablet's not on the roadmap right now, so you guys go work with the guys in the foldable department or whatever. Then when they decided, hey, we want to do this new thing with the Pixel tablet, it's going to be a smart home device too, whatever, they reassembled the team. People who are doomsday saying, you know, all this stuff, oh, Pixelbook, whatever, it's not on the roadmap right now, so there's no reason to have a Pixelbook team.
Right.
yeah, they can spin up a new team.
6 months from now, they say, hey, you know what? We're making this big push for enterprise, and we want to do something a little bit different. We're adding facial recognition, or we're whatever. We're adding these things to the ChromeOS ecosystem, and we believe that it requires us to have a new flagship device. So let's get the team back together,
Right.
and let's
Avengers.
put out this thing. Yeah, exactly.
Like the Avengers.
We're gonna
Assemble.
assemble a Pixelbook. You know,
Yeah.
so, and
Yeah.
it's just, it is what it is. Does that mean they are going to make one eventually? Who knows?
Yeah.
But does it mean it very well could happen? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, Robbie, you had mentioned a little bit about maybe some thoughts on Tensor. So let's take a Tensor
so
Pixel.
quick
Let's
teaser.
take a quick break for an ad, and we'll come back and you can talk
All right.
about it. All right. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. So we mentioned this earlier, but we didn't quite say exactly what was going on. We're doing a giveaway.
Did we?
Yeah.
We
We
did.
mentioned the giveaway.
That's right.
Started to.
We started to,
Kinda
then
did.
we got distracted. Probably, I don't know. We're gonna give away a Lenovo Chromebook Duet 3 when we hit 10,000 subs on
True
the Chromecast Podcast
story.
YouTube channel.
True.
So
Can't
click
get
the
there
link.
unless you share it, unless
Yeah.
people subscribe.
Yeah.
We want to give the thing away.
We want to
Let's
give
go.
we want to give
Otherwise,
stuff away.
It'll be like 2026, and you'll be getting a really old Chromebook.
Right.
Nobody wants that.
It's gonna defeat the purpose at that point. But no, we're really excited to give this thing away. We have some other stuff to give away along the way. The way of the way.
With the
along
way.
the way. In the way.
too.
In the way of the main giveaway is some other stuff on the way
Yeah.
that are way, way cool.
that are way cool. Yeah.
Way neat.
So click the link in the description and get entered to win. It's super duper simple. All
Very
you do
easy.
is give us your email and click subscribe.
Done.
Easy peasy. You're entered. Done. Donezo bunzo.
We
There's some other ways
we
to.
promise not to message you at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
won't message you much at all.
No.
To be honest with you.
we send a weekly roundup email to that list,
Yeah.
and I send it out normally on Fridays, on Tuesdays sometimes if there's a lot going on, but normally Fridays at noon, and that's it.
It's a great way to
That's
catch
all.
up if you
Hey.
want to stay caught up on the news, but
Yeah.
you like kind of a digest kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is a great way to
See what's
it's
trending.
the one I get.
Yeah, see
That's
what-
how I
see what's
keep up
trending.
with Chrome Unbox.
See what's going on.
Just
See what we
let-
got. See what we got going. I don't know. I don't know what we do except for checking that email.
No
Top
idea.
5 posts. That's all I get.
Like, huh? That's good for me.
Oh.
Okay.
Hey, Chromebox has their own coffee. Cool. So, click the link in the description, get entered to win, and help us get to 10,000 subs on this channel. Okay, back to what we were talking about with the Pixelbook.
I was trying to tease it before the
Robbie
break,
was trying
Joe
to
wouldn't let
tease,
me.
Got
but
shut down.
I was confused for good reason because you have a this article isn't out yet, so
Yeah,
this
it's-
is technically a tease.
It's in progress.
I'm dumb. I don't know anything about anything.
I had
so-
to outline it even. Like, I had to get my thoughts in order. So I've got the first couple paragraphs written and then like an outline of
Yeah.
how I'm going to get to the point. But I can just kind of work my way through it here.
Yeah, sure.
Because by the time you
Take
hear
notes.
this,
Yeah, somebody write down what Robbie says so we can put it in
I'll
an article.
re-listen back and be like,
Yeah.
I made some good points.
Hey,
in
just
there.
hold your phone up to it and do a recorder thing.
mean,
Just
we
do it
could.
now. Honestly.
Oh, it happens every week. Like Monday,
what
I'll
did we
roll
talk
around.
about?
Like, man, there was something we talked about on the podcast. I was like, man, I'd really like to write that. And you're like, nah, I don't know. You should probably go back and listen to it. So I have no idea.
Here we go.
Recorder
Here we
is
go.
awesome.
Pixel
Yeah,
recorder.
It does an
See,
excellent transcript.
Which I saw somebody. I think it was Ryan Hager. Where's he at now? Where did he go? He went to
Hey, I don't
where
remember the name
Ruddock
of it.
was, wasn't it?
No, Reddick went
No.
to Esper
Oh.
with all the other tech.
Oh no,
bloggers.
Ryan said he was going to work for an industry.
He posted something from it the other day, and I was like, "Don't know what that is."
Okay, anyway, he had tweeted yesterday something that I had thought over the weekend. Man, they really need to make a way to just add audio to that.
What do you mean?
Like I had some audio files from a video that we had done.
Oh, and you want to transcribe
Yeah,
it.
that I recorded with.
I normally just hold my phone up to the speaker.
Right, but that's annoying, and I'm
Right,
like,
just import.
Why
It
not
works.
have an import button?
Yeah, because then you got to sit and listen to it in real time if you had to transcribe
Yeah.
versus just
I'm
import
like,
the thing.
I can't believe that's not a thing already.
Come
It
on,
should
Google.
be. There
Let's
you
get on
go.
it.
Hey, somebody listening in Mountain View, do it.
Anywho, so the idea being here, I saw an article by Kevin Tofel over it about Chromebooks. He wrote it like 3 weeks ago before all this, before everything fell apart with the whole Pixelbook thing.
And nothing can go wrong.
And nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong.
Yeah, it's like Robbie wrote his. What was it, July? I think.
Yeah,
was
back
when
in the
he wrote
summer.
it, and then Kevin wrote that, and it's like, all right, yeah, everyone's on board. Yes.
Yes.
And Google's like,
nah.
not in my house.
And so,
Oh no, it all went wrong.
all went wrong.
so yeah, it was just funny because the
Good
title-
luck. Good luck with this recording,
I
by
know.
the way.
It'll be all loud and blown out, garbage
So
sounding.
like every week for me. Yeah.
Oh,
Come on.
Sick burn. Can I see my transcript in real time? Let's see.
yes,
Does
yes, it
pick
does.
anything
It
up?
does live
That's
transcription.
good luck. Oh, it was just funny because good luck with this. Hey, it's picking it all up.
It is.
And it's
It
picking
is.
up me rereading the transcript. So I have two
Whoa.
versions of that there.
Yeah.
It's like Inception.
Wow.
Anywho.
What were we talking about?
Say it backwards, and then
Oh, God.
read it.
I can't.
Replay it.
I don't have those skills. So yeah, but the title of his article was why a tensor-powered Pixelbook makes sense, and I remember looking at it and being like, well, that kind of sucks, because I agreed with a lot of what he said.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about it in lieu of what we've been talking about here lately with the Pixelbook and why a Pixelbook is necessary, and I realized like I've had this post sitting in my like things to write, like the longer term things. I'm like, oh, this would be an idea for one day, and it's been in there for 6 months at least, and my dream pixel or tensor powered Pixelbook. And so I wanted to make a post like, hey, when Google makes this, if they did this with it, this would be like my dream Chromebook. I can just make my dream Chromebook now. This is what I was going to do, and then I was going to do this with the Pixelbook. Obviously, I'm not going to do that now. And as I was taking that post out, I got thinking, I was like, it's funny. The more I'm thinking about, because I wrote an article a few months back about why Google may and eventually share Tensor with everyone else, and it was the points that we just got done talking about. Like Google's heavily invested in this ecosystem, and they're heavily partnered in this ecosystem, and so that means it behooves them to help their partners grow like that. And everything we've seen with Pixelbook means Google only does this when they need to shine a light, show people where to go, and other than that, they want to invest in their OEM partners. And so if they ended up putting Tensor in a Pixelbook, they would almost have to share it. They'd almost have to be like, hey, Dell, hey, HP, do you want to use Tensor in your Chromebook as well? Like, we've already figured out all the bits and pieces. It works if you just like to use it and build your own Chromebook, but it's instead of Intel, it's this. But they have some pretty strategic partnerships with Intel and MediaTek. So they'd be undermining those things too. Just thought about that.
Yep.
So I got to add that to the article. And so they've got all these partnerships in this ChromeOS space that's so different than everything else. Then now imagine for a second, as I sat and imagined now my dream Chromebook with Tensor inside, and you get this Pixelbook that, in my head was the original Pixelbook, just modernized, not even really modernized, just cleaned up a little bit, get rid of the silicon hand rest or palm rest. Those are a bad idea. But you could replace them with something cool that's washable and it's also soft feel or something. put that awesome Pixelbook Go keyboard in there, a haptic trackpad in the middle of that palm rest area.
Pixelbook Go speakers.
Pixelbook Go speakers, upward firing. The one of these 13.5-inch 3x2 screens, because it would fit in the Pixelbook that already exists because it had such huge bezels.
Fingerprint sensor.
Yep. Every hardware thing. Put a 1440 or a 4K webcam in it. Do something crazy. Or whatever. But
that haptic trackpad on a Pixelbook. Oh
that'd
my
be so
gosh.
saucy.
just a big slab of glass in between the palm rests.
Yeah.
They could probably shave another millimeter off of that thing.
I know.
Get it down to 10.
I'm sitting here looking at
I know. It's so thin.
the headphone. The
Oh,
headphone
you've
microphone
got, like,
jack is
30% of that
Oh.
bottom. You could trim that down.
The Type C, it's barely wider than the Type C port.
Yeah, it's
so
the audio.
crazy how
jack.
And it's a
thin that thing-
2017. Anyway, we can't get off
Shoo!
subject
Sorry,
here.
sorry. We
so-
need one.
Yeah,
we need one
we need to
in the
buy one.
office.
Yeah,
Let's go
I'd love to
steal
find
something else from Kenny's
I'd love
office.
to find a new one, so it didn't have a bunch of grubby palm prints on it, so we
Yeah,
can leave
that's
it
true.
pristine
Brand
and
new
not
one.
use it. Anywho, so as I started building this device and okay, I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna say this, and all this kind of stuff, I got to thinking okay, it's gonna have Tensor inside, and honestly, all the things I'm listing are all things that Chromebooks already do right now. So it's not like they would be doing anything new hardware wise. If they put a crazy front-facing camera in it, that's not really.
But anyone's capable of doing it.
right.
They're just
That's
not doing it.
Yeah, that's not these big. I mean, think about the Pixelbook was one of the early convertible that did converting. It still is the best convertible
Right.
feel of any device that's been made. But they also put an excellent keyboard, an excellent trackpad in, a 3x2 screen. There were some things that they were trying to push, like this. People like this stuff. Do this, and we were trying to find a 16:9 Chromebook that we have right now in the office, and I was hunting through all kinds of them because they're 16:10 or 3x2 now, and so you see the effect, the eventual effect that these devices have. So I'm like, well, in my dream Tensor-powered Pixelbook doesn't really look hardware-wise that much different than anything that's out there. So I guess that wouldn't make any sense for them to make that.
Right.
And then you add putting Tensor inside of it does one very strategic thing that would be completely counterintuitive to everything that they've done in the past 11 years with Chromebooks. And that's because they're clearly not going to be sharing Tensor with anyone. I mean, I feel like now that it's been around for a year, that it doesn't seem like they're going to put a Tensor, like they're going to have a tablet Tensor chip. It's going to stay in the Pixel phones. They're not sharing that with any phone makers. That's not happening. You're not going to get a Samsung with a Tensor chip in it. And so if they were to put a Tensor chip in a Chromebook and be like, here's the new thing. This is why we made a new Pixelbook, to showcase Tensor SoC. But they're not going to share it with anybody.
Right.
So how is that going to work? Because now all of a sudden you've got a
then it's
Pixelbook
it's
that's like, hey, we've made this thing. None of our partners can make this thing.
Right.
You can't make it. Like,
That's
it's
not a
even
Lighthouse
possible.
device. That's
no, this is us showing off.
Right.
And now we're in direct competition with you. It's not. We're kind of like the Pixelbooks before were kind of sort of, but they weren't pushing them in such a way that made them that way, and they were making them so infrequently it wasn't a big deal.
Right, because HP could have made a Pixelbook clone if they wanted to, or
Sure.
anyone could have.
Sure.
They just chose not to.
There was nothing in it
Yeah.
that was you were incapable of making. You put Tensor in it, that's just Pixelbook, and no one else can compete with that. And so all of a sudden I'm realizing, like, this wouldn't make any sense actually for at this stage.
Yeah, it does for this. For the phone, it does.
Right.
For
And-
ChromeOS ecosystem, it does not.
And I don't
Yeah.
think until the Chromebook ecosystem is in such a space where Google's ready to throw, like the Google hardware team is ready to get involved in
Right.
the ChromeOS space as another OEM, we won't see a Tensor powered Pixelbook.
And this is we were talking about this I think earlier today. Is there anything out there? Because I'm really not that privy to it. Is there anything out there in the ARM world that's comparable to what Apple's doing?
No.
Nothing. Like literally nothing, right? Because their M1 alone is destroying.
Yeah, the closest thing would be the latest Snapdragon chip, but it's still not.
Yeah, but you have like the M2, the GPU side of all that stuff. To me, not just Tensor, but ARM in general. That's going to be the next big evolution, is for them to say, hey, here's an ARM-powered device that's going toe-to-toe with Apple silicon, and oh, by the way, you can now run DaVinci Resolve in Linux on a Chromebook with an ARM-powered chip. But again, if Google did that and kept it exclusive to Tensor, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot.
Exactly.
You know,
And that's where
so-
Tensor all of a sudden becomes kind of a problem,
Right.
in this whole idea.
Unless they do eventually
Open
open it up. But I agree with you. I don't feel like that's the way they're going, because at the
This
end of the
doesn't
day,
seem like
they're
it.
still not fabbing these chips. These are
Well, and also it'd be different if like Tensor wasn't tied to Pixel. Like Pixel is a very commercialized line. It's a very Google hardware thing. They're competitive with it. They're not going to let Tensor just be in random Chromebooks, because that's going to sully because
Right.
if HP puts out a $300 Chromebook with a Tensor chip in it, all of a
Powered
sudden
by Tensor.
they're
And
gonna be
it's like,
"Ooh,
oh,
we don't
what?
want we don't want that associated with Tensor. Tensor needs to be like high quality Pixel.
right.
hardware.
It'd be like Altec putting out a 2 gig of RAM phone that has a Snapdragon 8 whatever,
Right.
and it'd be like, yeah, it might be a powerful phone from a CPU side, but it's a turd.
Right. It's a
we
piece
don't
of
want
trash.
that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you're talking about Apple and M1 and M2 and all that kind of stuff, like that seems like the obvious play for a Pixelbook with Tensor inside, is that we have this vertically integrated thing. But again, unless they're going to be sharing Tensor with people, that's not a good look for this ecosystem. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like,
I just don't see a world where Google's hardware, as it relates to Chrome OS, could ever be vertically integrated, because that's not their
too much competition.
That and their entire game with Chrome OS is just Chrome OS everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
enterprise. They sell enterprise license. They have all of the stuff, admin console, all of their strategic partners that they have, creating some sort of device that is exclusive in any way is counterintuitive completely.
yeah. I mean, it's like oil and water. Like
Yeah,
they
because
just
the OEMs
don't
can,
quite
because like
mix.
you have HP has the world's only haptic trackpad in a Chromebook, and it's incredible and it's awesome. But every other Chromebook still has a trackpad. It's just a different
And-
type of trackpad.
Acer could come out with a haptic
Absolutely,
trackpad.
they
That's
could.
fine.
Yeah.
Like anybody can. Like none of these technologies are only them. And I think so the Pixelbooks came out and did stuff that nobody else did. So you had the Pixelbook pen.
Yeah.
Before USI was a thing, that was a thing. Only worked on Pixelbooks.
Right.
But it didn't mean you didn't have stylus support on other devices. It was a different type of stylus. And so there are these things in a hardware perspective that the Pixels have come out and done first. There weren't a whole lot of detachable Chromebooks before the Pixel slate. And regardless of how we feel about that device, I mean, we have good tablets.
Approaching 10 probably.
And they're much better because of that.
Yeah.
Some of the failures of that device. And so like and high resolution screens came from the original Chromebook Pixels, and better keyboards and trackpads, and just overall better build quality. Like all of those things aren't unreachable for OEMs. They're completely in the realm of possibility. You just have to be spurred along to go do it.
Right.
But Tensor's not that. And so all of a sudden it's like, okay, so Tensor would be really strange, again, unless Google decides to share it, which would be really odd. So Tensor becomes an actual problem towards Pixelbook adoption. And so now all of a sudden it's like, well, why else would Google make a Pixelbook at this point, unless they're going to go directly compete? Like, what is the end goal here? What
And
would
they're
they
not.
do?
They've never ever claimed to be a competitive force in
It's
the
a
Chromebook
lighthouse
market.
device
That's
is
not
trying
their
to
goal. Yeah.
trying to push the market forward. Is trying to
Yeah.
show what's possible.
Right, and we also know that they have deep ties with MediaTek, and MediaTek's doing a lot of great stuff with their Dimensity chips and onboard GPUs, as well as dedicated GPUs and stuff like that. So that may just be a thing. Like Google might be going alongside them and saying, "Hey, look, you guys keep doing what you're doing, and when you get to a point where you can make a breakthrough on high-powered ARM chips for Chromebooks, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and we'll be the M1, Apple, whatever."
Yeah, well,
What?
whatever that highest tier of Companion that we asked about during last year's summit,
Yeah, because they talked about there being
Yeah,
one above.
one
Right.
above what they have announced. Like, hey, you never
who
know.
knows?
That could be in the works right now. I mean, it probably is.
And I have no doubt with what Apple's done that MediaTek and Qualcomm and whatever other, Kirin, I think, whatever, is it Kirin?
Huawei's thing.
Yeah, is that what they make? So I have no doubt that they're tirelessly chasing that, and I mean everyone wants to be able to get that kind of power out of a processor, but
for Apple, even it's not necessarily that they've got some special ARM cores working. It's that they have their software working with those things in very specific ways,
which is where I think Google's strategic partnerships are way more important than Google touting their own silicon. It's like, hey, let's get Chrome OS working as because they're doing all this work on containers and ArcVM and all that stuff. They're talking about ArcVM and all this container technology evolving to the point where it's literally straight raw power from the metal of the device, and I think that's where Google's focus should be. It makes more and more sense the more we verbalize this.
Well, and as I was sitting and thinking too, like it's even farther circle with the whole Tensor thing. So if Google doesn't have a hardware reason to make a Pixelbook, if Google doesn't have, is it going to put shouldn't put Tensor in a Chromebook because it's going to be the only one with it, and that's not a lighthouse feature. Here's then the conundrum that comes from that. So say Google does find some other hardware thing. I don't know what it would be. I don't know what else you do with a laptop at this point. Like it's a flying laptop.
Yeah,
they make the 3 or 4 years now they have a foldable with the keyboard in it like the X11.
Right. Something like where it's like something where they're trying to get the Chromebook makers to go, hey, we think this is where things are going. Like a full screen foldable.
Yeah,
that's a perfect example. So like the X1 thing from Lenovo or Asus.
Chromebook isn't a perfect example.
I figured when I was done with it, I'd be like, hit the fly button and it goes,
and it flies over to your exactly.
Or in the drone.
No, it has a nest. It has a nest in the corner.
Ooh, a drone Chromebook.
Yeah.
Now we're thinking outside the box.
A drone book.
I like it.
So,
no, it'd be a Chrome drone.
A Chrome drone.
Drone OS. But think about it. So there's gonna be a Chromebook like buzzing around our heads. I feel it.
Better get to work on that, Andrew.
Stop! No,
get out of here.
Trying to work.
Get out of here,
Chrome drone.
Chrome drone book.
Chrome drone book. But so think about that though. If none of those situations work, but Google's like, these OEMs aren't getting it.
Yeah.
We really need to do the big 17-inch clamshell, folding screen Chromebook. Like somebody's got to make it, and we got to light the path. Okay, cool. Google's ready to go do it. What processor are they going to put in it?
Right.
They're going to not use Tensor.
Right.
So now it's like an interesting kind of problem they actually have, because like you really think Google's going to go make a new, if they saw the need in 2 years to make a Pixelbook to do what they've always done with Pixelbook. At that point, as Tensor's in the 3rd or 4th year, you really think they're going to make a piece of hardware without Tensor inside of it?
Right, unless it's
you
something
think they're going to go make their Pixelbook tablet without, or their Pixel tablet without Tensor inside of it? No,
no way.
Unless it's something that's completely dependent on like x86 architecture, but they're trying their best to eliminate that. So yeah, it would be it would be if they're still making Tensor chips 5 years from now and they make it would be ridiculous for them not to.
And so it's like if that's what they need to do and they need to put Tensor in it, and it's like, oh, how are you going to market that in a way that I don't know. That's for them to figure out. Maybe that's why they're just like, we just need to.
I mean, they can ask us if they want a console. We can do that 100%.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
But that's why I think at the end of the day, the better solution for them, as much as we love Pixelbook stuff, is to get more involved with the existing OEMs. And if you want a flying Chromebook, or you want a big folding screen Chromebook, there are OEMs that are making those things right now. Get in partnership with them, and then help them craft these devices and figure out a way to...
The Nexus line of Chromebooks.
I mean,
because you have, Lenovo's expanded with Android and Windows, but you have OEMs that are making devices that are unique to the Chrome OS ecosystem. Continue to evolve that, cultivate that, and so we want to keep doing that, and even do like a buy Google or whatever you want to do, but I love the idea that OEMs are starting to fold Chrome OS into their major lines. That's awesome. I mean, the Dragonfly Chromebook took center stage when they announced the new devices, but for them to have their own unique thing too is really, really cool. And I know that's a lot of development and a lot of overhead, but still.
But again, marketed the right way, where consumers understood, hey, you liked Pixelbooks? This is same. Like, it's made by HP, but Google's heavily invested. We're right here with them on this. Like, make sure consumers know.
It's like the Galaxy, the original Galaxy. I mean, obviously Samsung has a ton of Galaxy books and all that, but they don't have another one that's like that, do they? Like the Fiesta Red, whatever.
There was one that came out like Flex Alpha or something.
Yeah, the
like
Flex
that.
Alpha.
Kind of sort, but it was a chunkier version.
Yeah. So, but
it wasn't quite as nice as the
the
Chromebook.
keep doing that. Keep doing that one, really premium device. Do it
And
right.
if anybody
but
from Samsung's listening, where are you guys?
just
at?
make
what's going on?
another
Where'd
one
you
of
go?
those. Seriously.
Stop backing out.
Well, making
Show
Chromebooks
up.
anymore? Or what's happening here?
I
like
check their
every year they're
site
just
every
like-
morning because I'm just expecting one to just show up. Because I was
that
on there a couple weeks ago, and at the bottom of the Chromebook page, it said Galaxy Book Pro, and I'm like, did they just launch a new premium? They had their Windows device stuck in with the Chromebooks. I was like,
there it is.
that's what I expect. I expect it'd be dope if they did a 12th gen, but I bet they're going to do like an 11th gen ultra premium, and it just shows up out of nowhere. But maybe not.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. It
CES
is-
would be the time if they
Yeah.
do it.
They like launching stuff at CES.
Yeah,
so
that
kind
could
of
be really cool. Okay, there you have it. There's our thoughts on Pixelbook and maybe where it could head or what's going on.
Should, how it
head,
should go.
might
would,
head. I don't
and
know.
How,
We'll see.
And how complex this
Right.
whole thing
Right.
actually
It's
is.
not as simple as let's just
Google
we're
either
not-
makes something
we're-
or doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
way more complex.
Yeah,
than
there's
that.
a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces. But obviously, we've got a couple articles out there already. Robbie, you're going to be probably working on this
Yes.
other article. So we'll make
Yes.
sure to link all this stuff if you all
Yeah, it'll
want
be
to
there.
take a deeper dive into any of this. We'll link everything down in the show notes. Last thing, let's talk about a unboxing and impressions video that we did that is a little different. We tried a kind of different approach with this one, and it is a quick unboxing montage at the very beginning and then just hopping into some impressions.
Is this the crate we unboxed earlier?
No.
Oh, okay.
We
I
did.
saw you
We
filming
also-
that. I didn't know.
We also have a crate,
Yeah,
an
Time
actual
box.
crate that showed up today
So
for
Kinda looks
Gabriel.
like a crypt.
it was real weird. The guy looked at me and said, "Is it heavy?" And I said, "I have no idea because I'm not sure what it is." Anyways, next week we'll
Solid
talk
wood.
about what that is.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, this is a Chromebook, and it didn't come in a wooden box.
No, it did not. Well, I mean, cardboard.
That would be a whole different thing.
Yeah.
But no, this is the Asus Chromebook Flip CX5601.
Yep.
Nailed it.
And it's a large screen Chromebook that has been out for a while.
It was announced in January at CES.
This is the one that's
Out of
available
nowhere.
at Best Buy, correct?
Yeah.
The Core i3.
Core i3 12th gen, 8 gigs RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage.
It's a monster.
Big
It's a
keypad.
Yeah, it's a numeric keypad, upward firing speakers. It's like in the hinge, the speakers there. 16 by 10 aspect ratio at 16 inches. Full HD, so that's a little bit of a knock for me right now. Like that size of a screen, that's a lot of screen real estate for full HD. Like you can see it from regular working distance. You can tell like that's a little
What should
pixely.
it be, like 2.2K?
Yeah, it should just be a quad HD screen all day, but it's not, and so it is what it is. It's affordable, and so I didn't talk about that in the video, but realizing it's like I think like $499 or something.
Yeah, the value proposition.
$449 or
is-
$459. I don't know. I don't remember how much.
Yeah, I want to say it's like $529, but it's already gone on sale.
Yeah.
You could get it for like $430 or something like that.
So
which-
that's a big deal because, we treated this video a little bit different, and we're going to kind of see how people react to it, and maybe do, like what we would consider like main device unboxings in this way, devices that we intend to review, for instance. And so the montage at the beginning with the unboxings done, and then it's like, here's some literal impressions, and I kind of hone it down to 6. We list out the specs, boom, those are out of the way, and it's 3 things I like, 3 things I don't, impressions wise so far. And the things I really like are the speed, and it's the first i3 we've had, the 12th gen i3. And yes, the GPU isn't as good as the i5 and i7 in this generation. It's not Iris Xe graphics. It's I think they still call them Iris, but it's like Iris HD
but
graphics.
yeah, it's the Intel UHD. I think they're up to 630 now or something like that.
So it's fine. Like for Chromebook tasks, completely fine. The only thing that if you were looking at getting into Steam gaming when that launches, or like when LumaFusion launches later, assuming it really leverages the GPU, a different Chromebook would be better for those final renders. But For everything I've thrown at it, no issues whatsoever. And it was so fast feeling that we ran some benchmarks and did a post about this too. Like, it was beating the Core i5 and i7s that we have here in the office in some benchmarks. It was like, it wasn't like, oh, it's only a few thousand marks, lower than these. It's the same or sometimes better depending on when I ran it. Like it would beat the i7 in octane and speedometer sometimes. So,
which is crazy because
insane.
Previous gens like the i3 i5 gap was pretty big, and then the i5 i7 gap was a little bit smaller. But for them to be on par, the only boost you're getting in the bigger chips is the GPU.
And I think the hyper-threading is a little different. I think
it's going to be hyper-threading because I don't think the i3 does multi-core. I have to double-check that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. But either way, I mean, using it with a Quad HD extended monitor and doing all the stuff I normally would do, just crazy fast. Like, never, ever thinks about doing anything. And so I really do like that. I like the speed, and I like the fact that the i3 delivers that kind of speed and performance because it means cheaper Chromebooks are just faster, which is awesome. 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of NVMe means that it's going to keep up with everything you're going to want to do. The keyboard is excellent, but the CX5 from last year was excellent, so that's not surprising. It feels like the same keyframe. Obviously, it's a huge keyboard, so it's nice and spaced out, super clicky, great travel. It's excellent. And the screen size is awesome. Like, having that, I mean, you have the exact same size on the MacBook. And when you take it by itself, that's
over
it,
there.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it's sitting there by itself, like, that's enough screen real estate to like get super duper productive and like not really feel the need for an external display if you didn't want one.
Have to have one, yeah.
And so having some more resolution would take that to the next level. And so that became kind of that part's good. The bad parts are 1080p doesn't take full advantage of the sheer actual physical size of the screen because I don't have enough pixels to
we tried
to scale.
we tried getting a shot of like some of the icons, the app icons, but like it was hard to get on camera.
Yeah.
But looking at it, you can see some
it's
pixels,
pixelated.
and it's like,
and that doesn't bother me so much as much as it's just when you have that much physical screen real estate, that many square inches or square centimeters, however you measure, like, it's not as useful when the resolution's low.
Right.
So if it's a higher resolution, I can scale it in different ways. And I take like 14-inch Chromebooks a lot of times, like 1080p ones. When you go all the way up to the native resolution, things are a little bit small. But if that's the only screen I've got and I want to split screen some stuff and I'm okay dealing with some smaller text on screen, I can make that option and do that and actually utilize my screen real estate more. You can't go past 1080p on this thing. So it's like, cool. I mean, this is the size of things are, and this is just how it's going to be. And so I feel like it's underutilized in that way. But the screen, I didn't believe. Asus said it's 300 nits. I was like, there's no way that's 300 nits. Measured it. It's 300 nits, but it's like so yellow,
crazy warm. Isn't
I think
it?
it's the color. The color temperature is what makes it look dimmer.
Yeah, it is. It takes away, like, you never get those pops of bright white. So whether it's on a background or it's on a website
Everything
or whatever,
just looks a little muted.
Yeah.
It has that Edison bulb tint to it.
Yeah.
It's
very like,
which is
it's
great in a
yellowest.
coffee shop, but not good on a Chromebook.
It is the yellowest screen I think I've ever seen on a Chromebook, and so that's a bit of a bummer.
Especially
because
when you had it right below your monitor and going back and forth.
I
and
kept
that's
moving just a Google search page from one to the other, and you're just like, oh my god, that's like white and super tobacco stain.
Yeah, and that's the sort of stuff that's the sort of stuff we'll get in the full review. For this one, we just got some nice kind of glamour shots, but you can still see it in the glamour shots. I think you can see it in the thumbnail even.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we edited the thumbnail a little bit to kind of clean it up, and even still, you can kind of see it. And I'm like, let's not bring the color temperature down in the image and fix it. Like, that is what it looks like. So
yeah, so those things normally warm, like the Pixelbook Go has a warm screen comparatively, but it's not so warm. It's not so warm that it's distracting. This one, even without any other screens in front of me, I see it and I'm like, ugh. And I just can tell it's just not white. You never get white on the screen, and so that's a bit of a bummer. The trackpad surface is nice. It's large. And it works fine. Like, I haven't had any problem with it working. I think so. I'm not sure. Or it might be like one of those recycled deals. I don't think it's glass. But regardless what it's made of, the surface is great. It feels great. But the click mechanism, it's not flopping around or anything, but it's like hollow and cheap, super cheap, like super duper cheap. And so something could be out of place on ours. It might not be that
makes me
bad.
think of Acer, and no knock against Acer, but they've always made that 15.6-inch budget device that's at Walmart all the time.
That click mechanism, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, that. Oof.
Hollow, weird, and just every time you click it, it's like, ooh, God, is this going to break? Like, I feel like it might break.
Put your finger through it.
Oh. And on that note, like the whole bottom of the chassis is made of plastic, which, as was the CX-5, I think. It might have had.
I'm pretty sure
it
it's
had
plastic.
aluminum. I'm pretty sure we thought it might be aluminum bottom,
we were,
and it was plastic. It's firm-ish. I noticed in the video when I was holding it up, like you see
You
a
can see
pretty
it.
decent
Yeah.
bow, but it's also very poorly weighted. So you've got an aluminum
super
lid, glass screen, and it just even if you hold it back for like where the vents are, it wants to almost turn over. Like it's super top heavy. And if you go to pick the thing up from the bottom corner, it's just so massive.
Feels like it's bending backwards.
Yeah. But like if you grab it with two hands, it doesn't feel bendy and it doesn't feel terrible on the desk. And so
It's such a large device, you would probably most often grab it with two hands anyway, because it's just so big.
But like I wish on those, like if you're gonna build it with plastic, like just do a reinforced square frame around the outside,
Sure.
With some sort of metal. It doesn't even have to look good. It's just a frame, that just gives it a bunch of rigidity. But it wasn't even the rigidity that was a problem. It's just the fact that it's all plastic makes the weighting really weird. So when it's open, it almost feels like it wants to tip over.
Should put
a little bit.
weights in them like golf clubs so you can adjust them. I like mine.
And then
I like mine a little
I
weighted.
tend to draw a little bit.
Yeah.
A little
Just a
extra
little
spin.
key.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the mix of that, and then they use that whatever, I can't remember, like something velvet or whatever on the CX-5, obsidian velvet.
Obsidian velvet.
And it was like this soft touch plastic on the top, and even though it was plastic, I was like, ooh, this feels nice. And when you're typing and your hands are on it, it's like, oh, this is nice. And my wife's got the CX-5 and she's had it for well over a year, and it's held up. It hasn't. I figured it might wear in and like shiny
I figured
spots
it
on
would stain. Yeah.
It's black, so it's held up really well. I mean, for a Chromebook that just gets beat around the house basically. But this doesn't have that same. It's plastic, and I'm sure it's probably the same stuff. It just doesn't have the textured finish, so it feels decidedly plastic under your hands, which just makes it feel a little cheap.
It's crazy because on the original CX-5, those things made it feel more premium than it was. It had
It's just like,
it was
choose
like
that
a device
plastic.
above its own price tag.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I got to spend some more time with it. So there's some things that I like. I love the speed. I really do. The port selection's awesome. The performance of it, especially when I'm hooked into an external monitor. I mean, that thing just flies. It's great. And like the screen viewing angles are fine or whatever. It's just never ever going to flip that thing into tablet mode. I don't know.
I did for the B-roll, and even trying to
You're watching a ball
trying to
game or
flip it
something?
around, I
Yes,
was
if
like,
you put it on the,
"Oh,
if you
God."
were going to set it maybe in presentation mode or something.
Yeah.
But making I would just assume a Chromebook that size, make it clamshell. It put a really nice hinge in it, so that the screen just holds up better. Because and you poke on the screen too, it's a little floppy. But again, that's the weighting issue. Like it's just poorly weighted, and all of those things come together, make it feel a little bit cheap. And it goes back to everything we've been talking about in this podcast of manufacturers making devices that just aren't real considered. Like, we had this piece, and that was here, and I get it. There's budget lines and price cuts and all that stuff, and it's affordable. So you got to remember
what's the price
that.
point?
I think it's
$549.
Yeah,
So $649 is what was showing, and the one's on sale for $529.
So you're like, that's really cheap for a Chromebook that does this much, but the screen's a big knock. Like that's tough.
Are there any
That's tough.
settings, or is there anything in ChromeOS to
No,
adjust?
and they need to add that.
I think that would be pretty
The
useful.
night light's the only thing they have, but
They
they don't
need
have
to-
anything to adjust
They
color
need to
temperature.
have an RGB adjustment.
Yeah, just a simple,
just a color temperature slider.
a calibration type thing. Like
Yep.
they do that in Mac. Like you can do calibrations.
I mean, Windows
and
has
stuff.
had it too forever. Like it's not something that's that rare, and especially with the variants we're going to get with Chromebooks, with so many people making them. Like there's been a
and they're
couple
working on a
warm
lot of other
screens.
stuff too, like variable refresh rates and adjustable, more hertz and all that stuff. There's no reason for them not to have some basic.
Yeah.
Just fill an op-ed piece.
There you go.
But
yeah.
I mean, seriously, just make it just put a slider in there and warmer, cooler.
Yeah.
I mean, that's simple.
Yep, and give me RGBs so
Yeah.
I can push reds. Let somebody else do it for me probably. But
Yeah, but it's Yeah, I mean for the price. I mean, if it's on sale for $529,
Yeah.
that's you're getting a lot of Chromebook, and especially if it's a device that you want to. I think you had said this in the impressions. You know, kind of a around the house type device.
It'd make a great device for the house.
Or I mean, somebody that wants a bigger screen for work and needs the numeric keypad.
Yeah, the keypad's a little slim. I'm not really sure why. Like, it's a huge keyboard deck. Like, there should be
What was
room for
the-
a full size.
What was that last device that's 17-inch that we?
That's that Acer.
Yeah.
I don't even think it has a key. Does it have a keypad on
I
it?
don't remember. That's why I was
feel like
wondering if
early
it
to-
did.
I feel like it was a little
Goodness.
keyboard in the middle, and there was all this space on the outside.
I don't
big
remember.
speaker grills on the sides.
Oh my! I can't imagine a 17.3-inch device that doesn't have a numeric keypad.
We still have it here. We can go look. But
Oh man!
Yeah.
I don't know. Super large Chromebooks are niche, obviously. Like, no one wants to put that in the backpack and carry
Right.
that around. It's like
It's
four pounds and change. Like,
Yeah.
it's heavy.
When do we get the 17.3 device? Is that the biggest laptop you can buy? Is there something bigger?
There's probably some
outside
gaming.
of
There's
those-
probably some gaming laptops that might be.
I don't know if
I
I've
don't
ever
know.
that
seen
size,
any.
or maybe a smidge larger.
Or like the weird things that like the
Andy
Acer.
Cam, what's the largest
Acer,
laptop you can buy?
What's their design?
Oh, Concept D stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of those,
Yeah.
like quote unquote
Yeah.
laptops. Those are desktops with a screen attached.
When do we get 17.3 and instead of the numeric keypad you have like a really good e-ink or a built-in
That'd be awesome.
Wacom tablet
Yeah,
or whatever
sure.
where
Yeah.
all your drawing stuff is right there? That would
Yeah.
patent that.
Yeah. Go ahead and write that up. Send that over to the patent office.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they already work with those.
Yeah,
You just have to
they sure do.
stick it on the bus somewhere.
Yeah.
That Wacom
Connect her
one you
up.
can usually get it for $40, so they could just slap
Let's
that
just
in there.
make our
Got your
own
little
with that
e-ink.
new modular device you all were talking about.
If I made my own Chromebook, it would be one of them big folding
What
half
you got,
Yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah,
screens.
17.3 looks to be
Pretty
the
much
largest.
the
top, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a. I mean,
Makes
that's a
sense. I mean,
massive-
17.3 inch
Chromebook.
laptop. If you've never picked one up, it's
Massive
like picking
screen.
up a sheet of plywood.
yeah, they're.
Well, I mean,
they're big.
even that Mac, I don't. It doesn't leave the office very often,
Yeah.
but whenever
Yeah.
it does, like when we travel and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this
That's
thing
why I
is
picked the
chunky.
14.
What's the Air? I bought one. I don't even know what it is.
MacBook Air. I think
Yeah.
it's 13.
Is it 13.3?
I have no idea.
Well,
sounds
I think
right.
they're all 1610.
Oh,
16 by
yeah,
10,
so it's probably 30.
The measurements are probably a little off, but 13, 14 inches, something like that.
I literally have no idea.
13.6.
Okay.
Really?
Told you
Okay.
it'd be off.
Yeah.
Cool. It's Apple.
Yeah.
I mean, good on them. They're not using
Yeah.
bargain bin
Yeah.
parts.
No,
like,
yeah.
But they got
Yeah.
their own stuff.
That'll be cool though, because that's like the older Spin 713, 13.5. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Uh,
It'll be just like working on a Chromebook.
Yeah. That's right.
It'll be roughly close to the Spin 714 that we have out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
a 16 by 10 as well,
That's
but it's
true.
14 inches instead of
Mhm.
13.6.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you have it. Go check out the video and give us
Yeah.
some feedback. Let us know.
Yeah,
Hit us
curious.
up in the comments or let us know on Twitter what you think of this kind of new style of unboxing / not really unboxing impressions video.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun making it.
I like the way it turned out.
I haven't
I
seen
think
the
it-
thumbnail yet. What's the thumbnail look like? Is it just
Just
standard
just
standard
standard
unboxing
Kind of
thumbnail?
side shot with
Okay.
the box in the background.
Cool, cool.
Andy Cam nailed the edit on this one.
As he
we
does.
were trying to figure out how to visually do this, right? Because
Yep.
we didn't want it to feel like a review. So we ended up with some kind of longer B-roll shots and just kind of showing off the device the way that
Kinda
we
the
would
way
do
we would, yeah.
on an unboxing. And the montage turned out great in the
Yeah. And-
intro. So
And
go
I feel
check
like
it out
It's tighter and it doesn't spend as much time
with the
haggling
stuff
through
that
because when we do unboxings normally it's just me off the cuff and
Yeah.
you're pointing the camera and I'm just talking
Right.
and I mean I'm this way and most people are like if you just say hey talk about this and you start talking about it like you
okay.
make circular logic
Let's
and
see.
you-
So yeah. All right. Well, let's start with the ports. Yeah,
Right.
you just
have to
kind of
work
talk
your way
through it. Yeah.
versus being able to kind of have it scripted
Yeah.
tight like it's
Yeah.
what 7 minutes long or
7
something?
minutes, right at 7
So, I
minutes.
mean, you're getting-
6:59.
It's a lot more thoughtful criticism of this device than I would get in a normal unboxing
And
too.
this is like where we're at right now with the YouTube channel. We've gone to one video a week, and we're trying to really focus on the videos that we do put out and like what sort of content are we putting out that can be the most helpful and most beneficial
Right.
for people watching it.
Right. And I feel like this gets more stuff,
still
more
in-
information in
Yeah.
that 7 minutes.
Still entertaining and still like telling a story about a device or telling a story
Yeah.
about whatever it is that we're doing. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. I'm
Yeah.
I'm curious to see the feedback. So let us know. Seriously.
And it's a great looking shot.
Oh yeah,
background?
yeah. We're in the new studio
New
for this
studio
one,
setup. Yep.
and kind of threw that shot together. We still had a bunch of stuff in here. We hadn't really gone through the studio.
We figured out the sound.
We have some AC units out back here that like to buzz pretty loudly.
There's one that vibrates our wall at a particular frequency that's not great.
They were running. It was running for the other video that we just shot that'll be out next week. So we'll have to do our tweak. But I did the tweak on the intro montage and completely got rid of the sound.
Okay.
Which there's no spoken during that, so I didn't have to worry about how the voice
no
sounded.
one knows what we're talking about.
So in Final Cut, you can actually go in and analyze the EQ and see where there's certain frequencies and then duck those frequencies out.
Yeah. And so
basically.
the unfortunate part is this particular frequency happens to be part of my voice.
Is right in Robbie's vocal range. So
Start talking higher.
yeah. Right.
I'm Robbie Bailey, Chromebook.
You're gonna
Or
watch the
talk
video.
much lower.
Yeah,
I like that.
you're gonna watch the video and Robbie's voice is just gonna be totally
Just all modulated up.
Today we're
Just modulate it up like
unboxing
2
this
steps.
Asus 60.
I think
Does that
lower.
sound like I'm just a little bit excited? just a little bit, not a ton, just notch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the Asus Chromebook Flip CX 5601.
Let's not do that. please.
on sale
Yeah,
now.
I was
If you
gonna
want this Chromebook, you get about
Better-
you better go buy it.
Monday.
Better
Here we
idea.
go.
Totally better idea. We just dub it all. Yes, but it's all out of sync.
Hey,
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely. We make
can
a
go,
telenovela out of the unboxing.
We could get creative with, hey, we know these parts are going to be covered with B-roll and
That's true.
voice over them.
We haven't done a voiceovers in a long time.
Yep. Michael Fisher style.
Yeah.
I love them.
But anywho, I think we'll make it work. But yeah, we're in the new studio now and excited about this kind of next phase of Chrome and Box YouTube. So
And if the next video has me sounding a little bit like this, then you know why now.
exactly.
Wow.
Just
I have no idea how your
the
voice can
Asus
go
Chromebook
that low.
CX 5601. It has on board a 1080p webcam.
I want to see how long you keep going.
No, I want you to stop.
All the
I want you to
specs.
stop right
I want
now.
you to go through every spec with that voice. All right. We're gonna get out of here. That's it for this week. We appreciate you all listening and watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, go check it out and make sure to enter our giveaway so that we can hit 10,000 subs and give away a Lenovo Chromebook Duet 3 sooner rather than later, folks. Help
We
us
wanna
out.
give it away. We
Share
want to.
it.
We do.
Share it. Let your friends know. Let your grandmother know. Let your uncle that lives
Yeah.
out of state. Call him.
Cousin Phil.
Call Phil. You know?
My uncle Phil.
Yeah. Call Andrew's uncle. Let's put his number. Let's put his number in the,
Andrew can't convince him to subscribe. Maybe you can.
oh my gosh, this guy just
Gets doxxed. Why am I getting calls? Just subscribe, please.
yeah.
Subscribe, please, bro.
Everyone's just calling him and telling him to subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh. All right, there you go. Check the link in the description to get entered to win. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to give this device away. So, all right, that's it for this week. We'll catch you all next time. See you.